Hello everyone, I'm Dead Knight and this is In It to Win It. We got the full United and Stormwind card reveal and we're going to break down class by class what I think the best card in the set, worst card in the set, and most interesting card in the set is. Don't forget to subscribe and like and leave respectful comments below. But in this section we're going to talk about Rogue. Uh, Overall I think we got a pretty mediocre batch of Rogue cards. So, that's kind of sad. I think the SI7 mechanic is going to be kind of trashy. But anyway, as far as what the best card in the set is for Rogue, I'm going to go with Garrote. Garrote is a 2 mana spell that deals 2 damage and shuffles 3 bleeds into your deck that, when drawn, deal 2 damage to your opponent. So if you draw your whole deck, that's 8 damage for 2 mana, which is just absurd. And so typically you think, well, that's not so great because what are the odds you're going to draw your whole deck and deal this damage when you need it? Well, for Rogue, the odds are pretty good. Rogue, in both Standard and Wild, in a lot of games, are drawing their whole deck or the vast majority of their deck. You look at cards like Field Contact, Swindle, Secret Passage, that are helping you burn through tons of cards in a turn, drawing tons of cards. And that's not even if you're really going for it. If you're really going for it, you can throw cards like Dirty Tricks. You can throw cards in like Shroud of Concealment. So you can attempt to aggressively go through your deck, or you can just play your normal tempo resource generation game, and you end up drawing some of these bloods. And that extra damage always helps. So Garrote is much better than the other shuffle stuff into your decks because Rogue's ability to draw cards is so much better than other classes. So I think we're basically looking at free damage for a class that's already aggressive, and I really think Garrote is going to take off. As far as the worst card, so I already mentioned my disappointment with the SI7 archetype. So the king of that card is Find the Imposter. So this quest line requires that you play 6 SI7 cards to complete the full quest. And as you complete them, you get one, what do they call it? A gizmo card, which are 1 mana cards that have quality effects. So, let's not discount the fact that, the quests are giving, good rogue style cards that cost 1 mana that definitely outperform their mana cost. So let's go with all the downsides of this card. So firstly, the gizmos you get are random. So you might get one that doesn't help you at all. The reward completion is that you just get 5 gizmos into your hand, 1 of each. So not a huge swing. The investment is 6 SI7 cards. The SI7 cards are mediocre at best. Some of them are just downright unplayable. So they get better the more SI7 cards you play, but they're pretty much like none of them really stand out to me as good. Probably the best one is the 2/4 for 3 rush that when it kills a minion, it gains stealth. So it's understated even with the rush and even with the stealth. So even that card is not that good. And then some of the other ones are, you got a 7 mana 4/4 that reduces its cost for every SI7 card you play and combo destroy a minion. So Vile Spine Slayer, this is not. Okay, you have to play these SI7 cards for it to be good. Even if you've got 3 SI7 cards banked, you're still playing this guy for 4 mana, which 4 mana is okay, but so much investment, your whole deck for these mediocre cards, just to get a card that gives you a mediocre tempo reward, potentially on turn 7 or 8. I mean, come on. I don't see this card getting any. I don't even know if people are going to experiment with this card because it's just so bafflingly surprising how useless it appears. So that's hands down the worst card for Rogue, I'd say. And as far as the most interesting, it is also a hands down choice of Maestra of the Masquerade. It's a 3/2 for 2, and you start the game as another class until you play a Rogue card. So, I mean, this is just perfectly on brand for Rogue and their trickiness. what does this give you? You sacrifice a card slot. 3 2 for 2 is not a bad card slot if you're playing an aggressive deck, which most rogue decks are. So you wouldn't play a 3 2 with no stats by itself. So I'd say you still are sacrificing a slot. And what you get is you blow up your opponent's mulligan, and you blow up your opponent's sometimes their first couple turns. Really can't overstate how important it is to mess up your opponent's mulligan. So we see this all the time where you have a deck that has two different kinds of archetypes, like for example, Token Druid and Big Druid, where people don't really know how to mulligan, and the worst deck becomes better because people mulligan around the better deck, and then now all of a sudden their hand's a little flat-footed for your game plan, and that's a big advantage. With this card, you get that advantage every single game because people don't know you're going to be playing Rogue, which is going to have quick board presence, resource generation, and lots of tempo and card drawing. If they see you come out as a priest and they're like, oh, well, I got 3 or 4 turns before anything happens, so I'm gonna play my game a little more aggressively to try to jump out in front of priests, and then they walk right into your brain freezes and prize plunderers, and they're just totally flat-footed. So just the mind game on this is super on brand for Rogue. It's a really cool mechanic in general. I think people are going to hate it because it'll be so frustrating, but it's just super cool. I love the design. I think it's so interesting. So what do you think of my hot takes here? Do you agree with my best, worst, and interesting choices? Can anyone see any way that this quest ends up being good? Please leave some respectful comments below. Don't forget to subscribe and tune in next time.